This is Jarell Quansah. This is a new chapter. I can't wait to talk about it. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Happy New Year. Okay?
I'm good, how are you?
All good, thank you. All good.
Welcome to a new chapter. You're our first guest for this new series. Are you ready?
I am ready, I'm ready.
First of all, Jarell, how was your Christmas? How did you spend your holidays back at home?
Do you know what, it was lovely. It was the first time I got to celebrate it fully without playing football and stuff. So all my family was around my house and in Warrington. It was really wholesome, a lot of karaoke, a few drinks as well, but on the whole it was really nice.
What was the go-to karaoke song in the Quansah household?
God, what do we do? There was a lot. It was a whole night of different songs, but I think me and my dad were doing a bit of Frank Sinatra.
That's very nice. That's a good Christmas
right,
music.
yeah.
So you already got to experience some German culture here at the Christmas market by eating the Leberkäse bread.
Entschuldigung, wir müssen einmal eine ganz kurze Pause machen, weil die müssen das erste Mal in ihrem Leben Leberkässemmel essen jetzt. And then from 0 to 10.
I'm gonna take a big bite.
Why?
Probably a 4.
Maybe without sauce for you? Never? Never be again?
0.
Did you not enjoy that?
No, it weren't the greatest food I don't think I've had. I genuinely to this day don't know exactly what it was, but
So you didn't take it back home to your
yeah,
family?
never.
Right, we want to get right into it, so let's talk about your move to Germany. I mean, did you ever envision yourself taking this huge step, especially as such a young player as yourself?
Do you know what? I did. I knew from when I was young, regardless, I always wanted to play abroad. I think me and my dad, when he used to take me to training all the time, we obviously sat in the car for hours and hours with each other, and we used to talk about, even when you're 10 years old, about your future and where you want to play and what you want to achieve. So definitely I remember speaking many a times about moving abroad and just trying something new.
So did your dad and your parents play a huge part in your career and your decisions which you made?
Yeah, of course. They've done so much for me. They've managed to sacrifice a lot in their sort of lives. My brothers as well and my sister have had to sacrifice a lot, not being able to do what they wanted to do just so they can come and watch me play around the country in England, and yeah, taking me straight after work through the traffic on the M62, which is in England, it's a crazy road, up and down there for 15 years straight, but it was all worth it, and yeah, thanks to them.
It was very important to have a supportive family, especially if you're abroad. Now, you changed into a very international team, Leverkusen. We've got many players from different continents. We've got Pala drinking his mate tea in the changing rooms. How's that for you? How do you experience the entire international combination of the players?
Yeah, it's definitely different because you normally, in most clubs, you have a larger portion of the players from that country. And I think here we've got so many different nationalities and so many different sort of little pockets of different languages that you have. But yeah, everyone speaks English, thankfully. So I don't have to do too much, and I can sort of conversate with everyone and get to know everyone really. And yeah, I think if you do that, you can build good friendships and build good relationships, which ultimately on the pitch, that's what you need.
You've already spoken about the language factor. Obviously, it really helps to have a common language in the changing rooms. But now that you're here in Germany, different language, new culture, how would you say have you adapted off pitch?
It's been okay, to be honest, because like I say, a lot of people speak English and I'm not just relying on that at all. I do some lessons, but it is really difficult. I probably came in thinking I could definitely learn it easily. I got humbled very fast. Some of my family speak a bit of German, quite well to be fair, so they're always helping me, and yeah, I think when you're around it more and more often, I think you do pick up little things and you pick up what little words mean, so it's just about understanding it, and then, like you say, I feel more comfortable now.
Is there something specifically about the German culture you really enjoy, or is there something where you're like, okay, this was better when I was back in England?
I'd say around Christmas time it was really nice. I think in England we copy the German Christmas markets, to be honest, and it's not up to the standard, so I'd say that was really nice. But obviously I miss the English breakfast and stuff like that. But yeah, there's always stuff out here that you can cook yourself and do yourself.
How would you say does the football culture differ? You've mentioned a few cultural things, but how about like on pitch, training, mentality, communication?
Do you know what? Any team you sort of go to is different anyway, regardless of it. If it's in, you move from a club from England to England or England to Germany, I think you're always going to find something new and you're always going to pick up new things, and it's exactly what I've done here really. A new manager, a new brand of football, but there's always going to be differences, and as long as you sort of enjoy the differences, and then you can work from that really.
You've already mentioned the new manager, the situation. Maybe at the beginning of the season it was a bit rocky, a bit, you know, good and bad times. How did you experience the entire situation of changing managers so quickly, and you being, you know, obviously new in the squad and everything? How was that for you?
It's football at the end of the day. I think you can never get too carried away with what's going on, and nothing's forever. Although at times you might think, oh, you're going to play for a certain team for the rest of your life. Anything can happen, and there's always curveballs around the corner. So yeah, it's just something you have to take in your stride, and I feel like we did that. And when the manager came in now, and he's been so calming and so assured in what he's been saying to us, that always helps. And yeah, he's a top coach.
Yeah, let's talk about Kasper Hjulmand. Obviously, you know, you've already said quite good words about him, but what kind of impact has he made on your career?
Yeah, I think he just sort of gives you the freedom to play, the freedom to sort of instill how you want to play the game as well, because at the end of the day you can't exactly come into a team straight away and change everything you want to. You sort of just got good structures off the ball, and sort of on the ball, he sort of just let us have a lot of freedom. And when you have good players in the squad, and players who can sort of play football like we can, I think that's the best way for it really. And yeah, thankful for him that he's given me opportunities to play week in, week out as well.
Now, from the manager to your teammates, we see here that you have a really close bond with your defensive partners, Edmund Tapsoba and Luc Baudet. How did that develop?
I actually don't know. I sit next to Eddie in the changing room, and I think he's just one of them guys who gets along with a lot of people as well, but he's always coming in saying something stupid to start off the day. And yeah, when I first came here, Eddie especially, because he'd been here for so long, he's been a person who's been able to sort of integrate with the squad and make me feel at ease straight away. And having someone like that is so valuable to any team, making everyone feel comfortable, especially when there's been so many changes in the team as well. You always need your players who've sort of stayed there for so long to really help and integrate everyone with the squad. And yeah, Loic obviously new to the country, new to the club as well. I think you can share a lot of experiences together, and you've got a lot in common, that you move into a new country and new club, and just trying to figure stuff out on the fly really.
Even though, I mean, you guys are teammates, but it's quite normal in a football club that there is competition inside the club. How does that competition fuel the friendship, and how do you balance that?
Competition is, I can only speak from experience, when I've sort of been in teams with healthy competition, it's been probably the best environment you're in, because I think from the outside it can sometimes be seen as a bit negative, but when you're actually in it and everyone's pushing each other to be the best version of themselves, you only go on to do good things really. And as long as we can keep pushing and there's sort of no jealousy or animosity against each other, like I say, we'll go on to do really good things with the club. And when you build the relationships as well, you know you're getting the best out of each other, and almost like sparring partners, like you're both trying to help each other get better in your career. And as long as sort of you see it like that, then I think it'll always be positive.
It's definitely like pushing each other and helping the team by fueling that competition, definitely. Now, let's take a look at last summer. You've just become a Premier League champion. Why was the prospect of a move away from Liverpool on the cards?
There's a lot of things really, but for me it was just, I'm at a point in my career where I feel like I'm capable of playing at the top level. I'm capable of playing week in, week out for a top team, and there's an opportunity handed to me where I could play for a top team week in, week out in the Champions League, competing for titles, trophies. And as a player, if you would have offered it me when I was 5, 6 years old, I would have bitten your hand off to be told you're a starting player in a team and play week in, week out and trying to win trophies. I would have bit your hand off, because that's all I want. I just want to be a true competitor, and yeah, just get better and better every week.
Obviously here you've got the great opportunity with your change to become a better player, and still there must be some things you miss about home, apart from the English breakfast, of course. You can also say your mum in case she's watching this. So apart from that, what is like the deep things that you would say you miss about your hometown?
Warrington, what a place. Yeah, you obviously miss a lot because you know a lot of the areas, especially when you grow up in the same area for so long. As a football player, it's not too common that happens. Like, I was at Liverpool for 17, 18 years, so I knew that whole northwest region so well. So knowing where to go out for restaurants, knowing what your friends are doing, where to go, where the best places to go, it's always nice, and it's comfortable, but I don't think life's about being comfortable. It's about going out your comfort zone and testing yourself.
How is it that you've built your entire friendships on that one place you've been? And obviously you're in the age where friendships and the people around you are very important for the person you are becoming. How does that affect changing to a new country? I'm
really lucky, maybe because my whole friendship group is people I've known since I was 4 or 5 years old. So there's not been much change at all in who I've been close with. I've known them when we were all kids, and as we moved into adults, we've all built similar habits, whether it be, I know we all do different sort of things, but we're all always share same memories, share the same goals, and yeah, like you say, having good people around you all the time is really important. And the older you get, I think you do understand that, because as sort of you get bigger and more famous and stuff like that comes with football, I think you do see people come out the woodwork out of nowhere and just sort of try and be your friends and stuff, but as long as you know you've got a core group around you, you know, if you ever need anything, you can turn to that person, or you can turn to your friendship group for anything, and I think that's really important.
You also realise that distance doesn't really matter when you've got the right people around you. Yeah,
I think, I've definitely known recently that, you know, if they're your friends or not, because my friends all work full-time jobs and stuff like that now, so whenever they get the time off, they fly out, and it's no problem. And they love coming to the games, they love watching me play. After every game, the majority of them are texting me saying, you did this, you did this, you did it. Always, which is good and bad, but it's always positive that when you do move away, you're not isolated, you're not alone, which is good.
Now that you've taken that huge step out of your comfort zone, is there anything you've realised about yourself?
I feel like I've realised I'm quite easygoing with things. I feel like a lot of people will saying things like, oh, it's a massive step for you to move away, it's a massive step for move a country so young, this, that, the other, but I didn't really see it like that. I don't know. I just enjoyed every part of it. Whether I saw it from a football and goals point of view, and I was just so focused on that, really. Maybe that's the case, but I think I just wanted to enjoy playing football again and enjoy having the freedom to express myself, I think.
You mentioned previously that Leverkusen showed the interest in you to to convince you in making the move. How do you feel about your decision, like a few months, half a year later?
Of course, there's no better decision I could have made. Like, never crossed my mind to even think about having a regret, because it has been so positive, and that doesn't mean it's just been, oh yeah, I've been getting better and better and we've been winning games. There's obviously been setbacks along the way. There's obviously been days where I've been thinking I do miss home, but ultimately, whatever it may be, you're on the road to be whatever I want to be, and yeah, I think having this platform and having the people in the club, from the chefs to the players to the coaching staff and the staff all around, you guys as well, I'll give you a little shout out. Yeah, I think having everyone making you feel so comfortable, and it really makes you feel a part of something. And yeah, I definitely so early on do feel at home, which is, yeah, it's the best thing for me at the moment.
Now looking into the Bayer Arena, scoring your first home Bundesliga debut, everything, how emotional is that for you now, thinking back how much has happened in these past few months?
Well, I haven't scored since, which, well, in the league since, so yeah, it's probably a negative, but that moment was so good. It's like a big relief as well. I saw it's when you get the buzz of scoring. It's obviously such an amazing feeling, putting your team ahead and stuff like that, but like knowing that, yeah, like I'm here is a really good feeling, and definitely probably set me up to be so confident and happy about everything, really. Yeah.
Now we've talked a bit about the past, but what's next for Jarell Quansah?
Hopefully a lot, to be honest. I think I've got a lot to prove, not only to myself, but to people who've watched my whole career, people who are rooting for me, people who believe in me, I think, and people who doubt me as well, I guess, because ultimately I just want to be the best player, be the best person I can be, to be what I can be, and if I live by that, I think I can't go wrong, really.
You don't think you'll go wrong in any way either. Jarell, thank you so much for joining us for our first episode of A New Chapter. It's been a pleasure talking with you about your first months here.
Thank you very much, it's been a pleasure as well.
We're excited to see what the rest of the season holds.
Wonderful, thank you.